This is Observious bringing you guys another League of Legends commentary, and this one is going to be a true commentary, as I'm not going to be going over any one specific champion, but actually going to be commentating a ranked game. My first ranked game, as a matter of fact, and this will not be me commentating it as I was playing, but instead a buddy that convinced me to do duo queue with him gave me the replay, and so this is going to be on the LoL Replays program, a third-party program that Riot says they haven't found anything wrong with it, but use it at your own risk. So this is the current replay system. It's fairly nice and all of that. On Team Blue, we have Singed as the tank. He's going to be fun with the whole AP, Poison Trail, tankiness, fling, etc. But, you know, he's not quite one of those true tanks. We have Warwick jungling with the fancy skin. We have Sona playing support and or maybe AP carry. We'll find out later. And Anivia as the AP carry, and Nocturne as their assassin / AD carry. On their side they have Jax as their AD carry, Swain as their AP carry, Nasus as their tank, and I should say off tank I guess, Jarvan as their main tank, Malzahar as possibly their other AP carry. So, a bit of a weird team comp they have there, a bit of a weird team comp we have here. No main tanks, quote-unquote, in this game. Merely only off-tank champions that used to have the tank tag, but no longer. The bans this game were Amumu, and then Shen and Rammus, and then Karthus as the bans for this game. Hence these picks. So we're going to have Nocturne in the top lane, soloing top. Swain is going to be soloing middle for the enemy purple team. Anivia is going to be holding mid for our team. Sona and Singed are going to be soloing bottom. So we're going to be going into the laning phase, which basically means we're going to be going back and forth, trying to get experience, trying to last hit minions for gold, because that's the only time you get gold. You get experience for staying behind it, etc. and so on. You should know this, maybe, if you're watching this. Nocturne seems to be raging a little bit that Warwick is AFK. He still hasn't responded or moved at all, but we'll find out what's going on with that later. Meanwhile, Anivia is going to go ahead and move into the action, try to get some experience, but also be a little bit cautious, as that is a Northern Front Swain, and Swain is a very strong early game champion, so we'll see how well he does together. Something that was, and still is, a little bit of a surprise to me is that Nocturne wanted the solo lane versus Jax and Nasus, as usually it is Singed soloing top, or I should say more commonly as his Poison Trail can clean up minion waves that are pushed to the tower and punish enemies that try to chase him down. But he's going to be mainly maxing out his Q and his Fear, I believe, and just have fun with that down there. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Sona and Singed are having a little bit of back and forth here. Sona is charging up that power cord, and she did get a sort of remake on her passive. Well, she did get a remake on her passive. So that way each of her abilities, depending on which aura she's running, will make her power cord, which is every 3 abilities she gets to hit for a triple cord damage thing. See how she sends out 1 bead, she'll send out 3. If she's maintaining that blue aura right there, it means that when she hits the opponent, it's going to do double damage. If she hits them while she's maintaining that green aura, the heal, it means that that enemy champion is going to be hitting for 25% less damage, I believe. And if she hits them with the pink or purple aura that gives her allies move speed, it will slow them for a few seconds. But they're doing back and forth, they're taking some hits. And now the enemy team does not have a support on their team, and they don't have a jungler, which typically means that things are going to be a little bit weaker for them. Going to go back and peek at the mid lane, and it looks like Swain is in fact harassing Anivia. She's already gone ahead and popped her last health potion. Meanwhile, Swain still has 1 health potion of his own. Anivia is pushed back to her tower. She is doing some damage to Swain. Swain did overextend a little bit here. And Swain is still managing to hold his own barely. He's up at 2 bars, but he is up against his tower. There's not too much they can do here. Maybe if he chased Jax a little bit there, Jax could have done an Empower Leap and killed him, but he is playing it safe. Warwick's, meanwhile, is still jungling. He's gotten golems and wraiths and is now getting wolves, so he has just hit level 3. Yep. He should be going down to get either red or blue to try to get level 4, and it looks like some little action going on back and forth here. Now, Jarvan and Malzahar have the advantage on this lane, as Jarvan has his flag and his long-range spear, and I did actually miss first blood, sadly, between Swain and Anivia, and one thing that LoL Replays does not have is a rewind button. So Anivia did some play with Swain and first blooded him. Gotta remember to keep an eye on that, but Swain's currently on a recharge timer. Going back to this topic down here, with Jarvan's flag, drop AoE, and Malzahar's general skills, Malzahar and Jarvan have an easier time harassing the one-range champion Sona. Although Singed can tank, he is going to have to take a lot of damage to get up to that line. Looks like health bar is updated over here for a little bit, and I guess Anivia recalled, wasn't holding on to one of the F keys, so it did jump back, as this was recorded by Anivia. But as you can see, Sona's taking some hits, but she has support. Should go Fairy Charm, Vision Ward, 3 health potions I believe, and 2 health potions. More of a supporting role. And she did get 9021 as I was playing her. So she has that improved CV, Clairvoyance, so it'll have a reduced cooldown and it will last longer, as well as the reduced abilities overall cooldowns. So she's having fun with that over there, keeping an eye on those bushes, which helped a lot that match. Looks like Anivia is playing with Swain a little bit. Swain is actually losing the fight right now, but he should get an advantage when we hit level 6. We'll try to keep an eye on that when level 6 happens. Meanwhile, Nocturne is still holding on to his lane. He hasn't recalled yet that I've seen, but could be wrong there. He's gone ahead and hit 6. Let's go ahead and peek over back at Anivia. Looks like Swain did beat her to 6, and she's behind a minion, so there'll be a push coming up over here. Meanwhile, it looks like bottom lane's pushing him a little bit, and yes, it looks like we missed some play with fun little power chords and flings, as Jarvan is pushed back. Oh, wow. Apparently he went over to his flag and took a little bit of extra hits here. Malzahar's playing a little bit safe. The HP bars are slowly updating. You got hit by a blue power cord there, so he's missing some extra health. Heals going off. More back and forth play over here. Meanwhile, Nocturne's staying a little bit past this tower. He can get hit by a Q here, but I think that the enemy Nasus is going to save it. Yep, for that minion there. So Nocturne's going to go ahead and back off. It seems that Jax didn't want to take a risk of sending an empowered leap at him from there. Meanwhile, Anivia's calling Swain MIA, as he had died and then came back, and now apparently he's missing. Anivia seems to have started an impulse move towards bottom, but doesn't quite want to go there quite yet. And here is Swain over here. Meanwhile, Nocturne has gone ahead and tried leaping Jax, but now is turning around. On the bottom lane, Swain is chasing down both Singed and Sona. We're going to watch this fight over here and then pop back up top. And it looks like these two are getting away. Let's go back to the top lane. And it looks like Nocturne has successfully driven away Jax with the ultimate. Sona's going to go ahead and tell Singed to back off, so he is. So it looks like it's going to be Sona versus Malzahar in the bottom lane. Although Swain is still bottom, but I think he's going to go back to mid after a while. Meanwhile, Anivia is snowballing a lane towards the tower, and she's not quite so certain what to do here. Seems to be a little bit cautious, as there is one champion missing, and that champion would be actually Jax and Jarvan are both missing, so I can see why she'd be a little bit curious. Or not curious, I should say hesitant. Sona's staying back, as I believe Malzahar could possibly be in that bush, maybe waiting on a CV cooldown. Minions are pushing up to this tower, so she's going to be busy auto-attacking that. Swain did return to the mid lane, and Jarvan did return to the bottom lane. Singed has also returned back to the base, so this will help clear out these minions really easy. He's going to go ahead and poison up all those minions. Sona's staying really low. I think she should recall soon, as a matter of choice. We haven't really seen too much from Warwick. He hasn't been too impressive so far. He's upgraded his cloth armor to a Madrid's Razor and gotten basic boots, so I'm guessing he's going to go ahead and start ganking soon. Probably going to get blue and red buffs before that, which will give him his ultimate. Meanwhile, Nocturne's chasing down Nasus, and I briefly glanced away, but we did see that he did in fact get him with that ignite. 2 ignites went off, and now, Nasus is going to go ahead and fight Jax point blank. We all know that Jax is the king of one-on-ones, and there is the proof. Meanwhile, Jax is going to go ahead and recall. Meanwhile, Malzahar has returned from wherever he vanished to, and so Singed is doing what he does best, which is winning that 1v2 lane, or at least not winning it, but securing it, so that way nothing bad goes on. Anivia got a little bit low and about with Swain, as Swain kind of never dies once he gets his ultimate short of a gank. So Anivia's on her way back to the lane. She did go ahead and buy a ward, so we'll see where she places that. Does Sona have any wards? Yes, she did buy 3 wards, but haven't placed them yet. Clairvoyant's going off in the bush down here. Oddly enough, nobody in the top lane, which suggests that Jax and Nasus are both either coming to mid, although mid lane isn't even there yet, or possibly getting some extra jungling experience off of their own jungle, or even hunting for Warwick. Just conjecture here. Nasus has returned to the top lane, and so he's going to go ahead and make sure that the lane stays safe over there. Malzahar is still showing his face over here with Jarvan. A little bit of back and forth here. Singed goes ahead and throws down his W to go ahead and slow them down, but it looks like it's just going to be some friendly harass. Little back and forth here. He does go ahead and try to throw down the silence, but it looks like it misses. And he really wants to go ahead and hit Sona with that DOT, which he does go ahead and pull off right there. Meanwhile, Anivia and Swain are going at it. Swain going off all white, eagle, hawk form, whatever that would be, since he is in that northern front one, so I don't know if his bird would change to an owl or whatever. But having some fun there, tormenting laser bird, root. Now he's popped his ultimate, doing some damage that way. Anivia makes him back off with his ultimate. Anivia's probably going to pop her ultimate here again. Meanwhile, Nasus is pushing the top tower as Nocturne is getting blue buff. Warwick looks like he wants to come over here and help secure that lane. Meanwhile, Jarvan was diving over here, and Nocturne does in fact go ahead and leap and fear the enemy Nasus. And then it looks like he's going to go ahead and turn on... Is he going to turn on Jax? I don't know. We need the HP bars to update to get a better view of this. Oh, Jax dives him, and Jax does go ahead and die. But Warwick does go ahead and pop his ultimate, and apparently the tower did get Nasus, and Warwick got Jax with his Q blindly into the bush. Meanwhile, bottom lane still more back and forth, nothing too interesting going on here. Mainly fighting over this little line right here. Swain is missing, of course. He did come overhead to top, and so it's going to be a Warwick versus Swain for a while, as both, or I should say all 3 top lane champions are dead, giving Anivia more time to safely last it and get more experience. If we go ahead and peek over at the minion totals, leading the most minions farmed is oddly enough Warwick for the blue team, and for the red team it is going to go ahead and be Nasus. Swain, their mid lane champion, is at 36 cash shop, and Anivia is currently at 33. So Swain is beating Anivia there, but not too impressive on last hitting here. But this is a sort of placement ranked, as this is the first one that I did. So everyone here either just got their elo off of this game or is still unranked after this game. Meanwhile, Nocturne is still holding his own in the bottom lane. Things are back to what they are. Now, his tower is taking a lot of hits. We go over and peek at this tower. It is still at full health. Jax has shown his face in the bottom, or in the mid lane. Apparently, Anivia came down, and he's taking advantage of that, trying to both get some solo lane XP and push the lane a little bit. He is going to go ahead and back off, as Anivia was coming. 2 wards, 1 warding dragon, which we missed and didn't see who got that. And 1 a little bit out of the bush over there. Jax is going top, is what Anivia is calling. Warwick looks like he wants to go ahead and try to chase down Jax, maybe help out Nocturne. And they are currently level 10 in the mid lane. Nocturne still waiting at top. Looks like he wants to ambush this Nasus whenever he pushes out far enough. Warwick getting ready with his ultimate, so we'll see that going down very soon. Meanwhile, Sona and Singed have pushed the bottom lane back to their tower. A little bit risky, but there is in fact no jungler, and Warwick hasn't really been showing up too much. In fact, it's on the opposite side of the map, so it's somewhat safe. Sona going to go ahead and reduce Jarvan's damage with that power core, just in case he did think about initiating there. Although they do have to be a little bit careful, as Malzahar does still have his ultimate, which I can see him using it. Singed does go ahead and pop his W, and then fling Malzahar. There goes the ultimate, which is going to go ahead and stun Malzahar, and Summoner Heal goes off, and this is like it's going to let them get away. Meanwhile, Jarvan's going to go ahead and capture Singed and range the ultimate, which is going to keep Sona spamming that heal and move speed, I believe. Yep, there's the move speed aura, and she is going to go ahead and get away. Jarvan was, of course, counter ghosting to try to keep up. And it does look like while that was going on, I guess not, Nocturne and Warwick did in fact get Nasus. However, Swain and Anivia are both having a fun duel right here. And very low here, Anivia does still have her egg, so she should be okay over there on that front. Meanwhile, Looks like Jax is going to go ahead and chase Nocturne, taking the bait. Warwick does pop out, but he does not have his ultimate up and ready. So Jax is going to get away, knowing that there are two in the lane. But a little bit of harassment going on over there. Anivia not recalling, neither is Swain. Swain's going to heal his health back up. Anivia's going to stay because she has her egg. And it looks like she's going to try to auto-attack this off of the lane. In fact, even going to pop her ultimate, taking her mana down to 0. Although she did just level and she has a catalyst, so that will help her out over there. Meanwhile, Malzahar's MIA, and it looks like Swain got a little, not Swain, Singed got a little too much harassment over there, and he's going to go ahead and recall. Sona is checking the bush up there to make sure that Malzahar isn't waiting in that bush up there, as Singed made sure that this bush was safe. And there is Malzahar in that bottom lane over there with 1 bar, oddly enough. But I don't think Sona's going to go ahead and take the bait on that one, as if she did jump in, I'm pretty sure Malzahar or Jarvan could ult and kill her, as she is relatively squishy with no real tank items. She does have a Philosopher's Stone, but that just increases regeneration, not actual health. And Swain does in fact go top with Jax, leaving Nocturne and Warwick all alone. Anivia's, oh, there goes Nocturne, hitting his Q, hitting his Spear. He's trying to run, and doesn't look like he's going to go ahead and get picked off. Meanwhile, Granny Warwick running away, trying to get to the tower, a leap in power going off, Jax taking 1 hit from the tower. Looks like he's going to go ahead and be okay. Meanwhile, Jarvan's called MIA, and Malzahar is so low, he got hit by a power cord, but it does look like that was not quite enough. Or maybe he has healed up since the HP bars has last updated. I don't know, time will tell. Sona is harassing. Singed is already low again. Very hard to tell, as it looks like Anivia hasn't glanced down here in a while to update those HP bars. Sona leaving and re-updating the view of Dragon and catching anyone who comes out of the jungle here or coming towards their lane from here with that ward. They're going to go ahead and keep harassing Malzahar away with W and auto attack /Q button. Meanwhile, Jarvan is returned to the lane. Swain was seen in mid lane, but I didn't quite catch where he went before he did move on. Anivia is going to go ahead and try to get blue buff, it looks like, or not, taking an odd meandering route of sorts, possibly just being careful to avoid Swain. Swain has gone ahead and showed himself bottom, although it looks like he's vanished. I think he vanished into this bush right here, although I could be wrong. And Dragon's still up. There he is. In fact, he was in the bush. He's going to go ahead and start returning to mid lane, as Anivia is still free farming. Taking a bit look at the cash shop right now. We are currently up. Our blue team is currently already up 6 kills to 3. Nocturne going 4-3. Anivia 1. Warwick 1. Bottom lane not getting any kills, but likewise their bottom lane is also not getting any kills. So pretty static back and forth on that lane. Meanwhile, Singed wants to go ahead and go after Swain. So we're going to see Anivia does go ahead and miss her Q. Singed is getting a little bit impatient here. He goes ahead and throws his W a little bit off there. Nocturne was waiting also for his ultimate. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and push that lane. Warwick is going to go ahead and maintain top. And it does look like Sona is going to be soloing bottom versus a ghosting Jarvan and a Malzahar. I don't see this quite ending well. Ooh, Sona pops her ultimate before she does get silenced. And will she escape? No, she doesn't. It wasn't enough. The Jarvan ultimate was too long. And Malzahar does get that suppression off. Meanwhile, team fight going off in mid. And it does look like Nocturne was able to sufficiently jump Swain. I think he'll live, though. And we will have to see what goes on there. Meanwhile, Singed came down to try to help avenge Jarvan and Malzahar, but it does look like they were too high health and too much burst for that. Mid lane's taking a lot of hits. Anivia nearly dying, and Nocturne, of course, actually dying. Swain, surviving with his ultimate form despite being ignited. Jax healing up rather quickly, or at least being at decent health. There's the Anivia recall. Warwick did go ahead during that entire team fighting and go ahead and kill the top outer turret. Jax looks like he's going to go ahead and kill this mid turret if we could see that HP update. And there it is. He's watching it. And yep, that tower is going to go ahead and go down. Meanwhile, bottom lane is all alone at the moment with Singed, but he should be okay with his poison. There goes the Clairvoyance, detecting Malzahar in the bush, and now Jarvan in the bush. Sona and Nocturne are both coming down bottom, and it does look like these champions are going to go ahead and back up at least into the secondary bush on their side of the river. And Swain, low health, didn't actually recall after that last team fight. He went ahead to top and used his ultimate to farm up some extra minions with Nasus. There's Nasus up there continuing to push his lane. Swain probably recalled here. Meanwhile, Anivia is going to go ahead and keep pushing that minion wave back. And Sona, meanwhile, is just healing up that lane. They're doing a 3-man push bottom. Malzahar and Jarvan look like they've recalled, possibly. We'll see more in a second. And Q's going off. Fun little auto attacks, etc. Sinch is waiting in the bush as he seems to be low health. Looks like she did go ahead and cast Clairvoyance over here by Dragon, as there was no ward there. Warwick's going to go ahead and take Dragon again. I think he took the first one. And oh no, Sinch is going to go ahead and get rooted there. Sona goes ahead and ults them in the face, and throwing down that Q to keep that move speed going to help them get away. Meanwhile, Nasus is, happily charging up his Q. He doesn't mind. He's like, alright, just let me farm my Q all day. Later in the game, I'll just, kill everybody with my Q in like 2 or 3 hits. Meanwhile, Anivia, Warwick, and Nocturne all coming down to gank Swain, so he didn't stand a chance. Jarvan's locked all 3 champions in their ultimate. Anivia getting